Today we know that Leonardo da Vinci is known for being the artist who created the famous paint Gioconda or Mona Lisa, which transcends with the passing of the centuries as well as the mysteries that some scientists and researchers are discovering. Also, another of his most famous works was The Last Supper, which recreates the exact moment of the disciples' reaction when Jesus announces the betrayal of one of those present at the Last Supper between Jesus and his apostles. What many don't know is that, besides being an artist, he was a genius, a reference for many, and a great inventor. Da Vinci was born and lived in the city of Florence, Italy in 1452. Besides being a well-known painter and artist, his art, his art was not only on canvas. Leonardo was an astronomer, architect, scientist, writer, sculptor, philosopher, inventor, musician, poet, and urban planner. He paved the way for much later research in the different areas of his knowledge, such as the creation of the helicopter, the submarine, and the automobile.
Hey, I'm Ricardo, and today I want to talk about art. I'm from Merida, Yucatan, and that's why I decided to talk about a Yucatecan painter as part of the project. Fernando Castro Pacheco was a painter, muralist, and a sculptor. He was known for his murals with the singular use of color with which together the figurative and abstract represents the history of the Mexican people, particularly in Yucatan, exemplifying the tradition and magic of this. His work attracted more publicity, and some participate in all the relevant exhibitions held at home and brought improvement by the Mexican major events in the following countries: Italy, Japan, Israel, Cuba, France, England, and United States. His most emblematic work is the Mayan Cosmogonia, which represents the Maya people and how corn was so scared of until it was considered the origin of the man. This one is one on display in the government palace of the state of Yucatan.
Salvador Dali, one of the most famous artists in the history of Spain. He was born in 1904 at the age of 85 and died in the tomb of Figueres, Catalonia. Salvador Dali is the most prominent painter of the Spain Surrealist movement. After his death, and left a large number of works and one studied aesthetics and art in new way. As an extremely imaginative artist, he manifested a tendency toward narcissism and megalomania, the object of which was to attract public attention. This behavior irritated those who appreciated his art and justified his critics, whom dismissed his eccentric behavior as occasionally public some more strength than his artist output. Dali attributed his love of art to his golden excessive, his passion for luxury, and his love of Oriental fashion, two of self-proclaimed Arabian lineage which transcended this route to the time of the Arab domination of the Iberian Peninsula.
Frida Kahlo was born on July 6, 1907 in Mexico City. She was a Mexican painter. Her pictures revolve thematically around her biography and her own suffering. On September 17, 1925, Frida suffers a serious accident. Her spinal column was fractured in three parts, suffering fractures in two ribs, in the clavicle, and three in the pelvic bone. Her right leg was fractured in 11 parts, her right foot was dislocated, her left shoulder was dislocated. After her accident, she tried to move as little as possible to help the healing. This is how painting takes a central place in her life. She was the author of 150 works, mainly self-portraits in which she projected her difficulties in her life. In 1939, she exhibited her paintings in France, thanks from André Breton, who tried to convince Kahlo that her paintings were surreal, although Kahlo said that her paintings did not belong to them. As one of her most representative works, Las Dos Fridas, is the largest painting that Frida Kahlo painted and one in which she expressed the most suffering.
Michelangelo Buonarroti was an Italian sculptor, painter, and architect of the 15th and 16th centuries. Born on March 16, 1575 and died on February 18, 1564. Known mainly for the sculpture of David and the pictorial work with covers of the ball of the 16th century. He was born in Caprese, an Italian municipality of province of Arezzo, currently called Caprese Michelangelo in his honor. He began his training as painter at the age of 12 in the workshop of the Ghirlandaio family, and later he entered the world of the sculpture through Bertoldo Giovanni, who would introduce him to influential circle of the Medici. Thanks to the frequent artists like between Florence and Rome. From one extensive legacy to Greek works that now the David and the Ball of the 16th century. Last year, devoted to architecture, he died in Rome at the age of 88 in the arms of Tommaso Cavalieri, his disciple, lover, and the student of countless sonnets by Michelangelo.
Sandro Botticelli. At the height of his fame, the Florentine painter and draughtsman Sandro Botticelli was one of the most statement artists in Italy. His graceful pictures of Madonna and Child, his altar pieces, and his life-size mythological paintings, such as Venus and Mars, were immensely popular in his lifetime. The son of a tanner, he was born Alessandro di Mariano Felipepi, but he was given the nickname Botticelli, derived from the word Botticello, meaning small wine cask. Smart beyond his years, the young Botticelli became easily bored at school. He was known for his sharp wit and his love of practical jokes, and he quickly earned a reputation as a restless, imperative, and impatient child. Fortunately, his precocious talent was recognized, and he was withdrawn from school and sent to work as an apprentice. In his final years, Botticelli became melancholic and depressed. He had never married, preferring the company of a family and friends. Having always been known for his high spirits and quick wit, the image of Botticelli's final years as a rapid decline into poverty, isolation, and mental anguish is a one. Examples of his paintings are Adoration of Kings, Venus and Mars, The Virgin and Child, and Mystic Nativity.